Hello, and thank you for joining me. You're here with Data Science Teacher Brandyn, and we're going to go over the diverging palette today. Okay, so the diverging palette is going to have two opposite colors that contrast. And you can see here, we have kind of a teal color and kind of an orange color. I just picked two random numbers, and honestly, most of them look good together. But this is really good when you have a positive and negative correlation. So we're trying to find the contrast, and this is really when you want to use a diverging palette versus, let's say, just a light palette right here, where you can see we have positive and negative correlations, but they are it's hard to tell that. Truthfully, it's kind of hard to see this here when it's all the same color. So we want to use the diverging palette when we want to highlight positive and negative correlations. Okay. So here we're gonna, if we set it to true, it's gonna be a continuous color, which is what we see here. You can see some nice continuous color. If we set C maps to false, it's gonna be a blocks chunks into color. So kind of, they both look really interesting depending on what you're looking for. You can set the number of blocks that you'd want to be 9, or whatever number you wanted. The center is going to be light, and it usually makes sense to make the center light. And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to set this to, if I wanted to set this to a value, I can then set CMAP equal to the value of this palette, which is essentially this palette right here, and it will highlight that and make it a nice CMAP. So, and CMAP is for the continuous colors. Okay. If you wanted to figure out, so figuring out what color, what number you should set these to is a little bit convoluted. Well, I couldn't figure out how to except for a loop. So Python always has the answer. And here what we're going to do is for I in numpy.arrange 0 to 360. I want it by 5, so step of 5. And I just iterated through and I changed the first position of the palette, and I made a heat map as I went through this. I printed it out each time, and we can see I went through all this and I chose a color that I liked. And I would say this is truthfully, if you're doing a project for school, this is probably, or for work, you probably want to, spend a little bit extra time that it takes to do this, a few lines of code to really find the color that you want specifically. I have not found a guide on their website for setting these. So here I use the other color, I do the right side here. And then I went through and I chose two different colors. I chose 230 and 75. Truthfully, I find lots of them make sense. So it's fun just to experiment randomly with them, see if you get a good color palette. Sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. And go through there. And here I'm just printing out the other one, and we're getting both colors kind of high or low. So the left is for the negative value, the first value, and the right is for the positive value. So you just change those and set. So this is really good. Again, the diverging palette is really good for highlighting positive and negative correlations. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time.